They were once shining stars in the public eye, singers, actors, athletes, icons of talent and success. However, life sometimes takes unexpected turns. Some deaths result from rare and sudden accidents, leaving behind regret and shock for fans around the world. In today's video, we'll look back at the stories behind these heartbreaking events, not for sensationalism, but to better understand the fragility of life and the fateful moments that can change everything. If you find this content meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next videos. Bob Saget was one of the most endearing and approachable faces to American television audiences. He was widely known for his role as Danny Tanner in Full House, a devoted and loving father figure that became a cherished childhood memory for generations. He was also the familiar voice of How I Met Your Mother, and made a lasting impression as the host of America's funniest home videos, bringing laughter to millions of families. However, behind that glamour was a multifaceted artist on the stand-up comedy stage, where he displayed a completely different personality. Frank, sharp, and always ready to express the most authentic perspectives on life, sometimes edgy but always captivating. Bob Saget dedicated his life to storytelling and bringing laughter to others, and he continued that passion until his final moments. But then, unexpectedly, he was found dead in his hotel room after a performance. The investigation revealed the cause of death was a severe head injury, most likely from an unfortunate fall. With no signs of external impact or foul play, his passing at the age of 65 left a profound void in the hearts of his family, friends, and millions of fans worldwide. What shocked the public was not only the suddenness of the event, but also the image of a man full of energy, who had just appeared on stage with his familiar smile, only to quietly disappear shortly afterward. Bob Saget departed like a dim light fading in the night. But his laughter and memories will live on for a long time in the hearts of his audience. Tony Knight was more than just a comedian. He was a vibrant energy capable of illuminating an entire space with his presence. With his charming, natural performance style and captivating ability to connect with audiences, he brought stand-up comedy to many countries, bringing laughter from cozy, small venues to grand festivals around the world. He possessed a special ability, transforming even the most difficult moments into moments of relief, however brief. However, life sometimes ends in ways no one can imagine. On what seemed like a peaceful day at an outdoor event in France, an unexpected incident occurred when a large tree branch, affected by strong winds, fell, resulting in a tragic accident that claimed his life instantly. A man who lived his life, fully dedicated to bringing joy to others, was lost to a completely unforeseen event. The passing of Tony Knight at the age of 54 has left colleagues, friends, and audiences around the world in shock. Many still find it hard to believe that someone who brought so much laughter and positive energy could leave this life so suddenly. His story serves as a profound reminder that life is fragile, and even the brightest souls cannot escape unexpected, fateful moments. Glenn Shaddix was one of those actors with a truly unique style, whose mere appearance on screen was enough to leave a lasting impression on audiences. With his distinctive voice and charismatic acting style, he always brought a quirky yet captivating quality to his characters. From his role as Otho in Beetlejuice to the eccentric mayor in The Nightmare Before Christmas, Glenn didn't just act. He breathed life into each role, contributing to the creation of imaginative and stylish cinematic worlds. However, his life ended in an unexpected way, in the familiar space of his apartment. A sudden accident occurred when he slipped and fell in the kitchen. The impact with a hard object caused serious injuries, and all subsequent efforts to save him could not change the outcome. He passed away in his own home. Quietly and with deep regret, Glenn Shaddix passed away at the age of 58, leaving behind shock and disbelief among his friends, colleagues, and admirers, an artist known for his fantastical, humorous, and sometimes dark characters. His life's journey ended in a tragic, everyday accident. This contrast makes his story even more haunting. a reminder that fate always takes unpredictable turns, even for those who have dedicated their lives to creating imaginary worlds for others. Mark Frechet was once considered the epitome of a generation's rebellious spirit. With his striking looks and captivating charisma, he quickly gained attention for his leading role in Michelangelo Antonioni's film Zabriskie Point. On screen, Mark emerged as an icon of the counterculture movement, fierce, unpredictable, and possessing an inexplicable allure. But behind the cinematic glamour was a thoughtful man, always searching for meaning beyond fame and recognition. As his acting career narrowed, he turned to a different lifestyle, joining a progressive community. From there, Mark's life entered a period of upheaval, moving away from the initial spotlight. In a rash decision, he became involved in a bank robbery, leading to imprisonment and years behind bars. However, what makes his story even more haunting is its ending. During his time in prison, while undergoing physical training, an unexpected accident occurred with the training equipment, causing him serious injury. The incident was considered an accident, but the silence surrounding it left many wondering. Mark Frechet passed away with many unfinished paths in his life. Not on screen, not under the spotlight, but in a quiet, almost cold setting. His passing leaves behind much regret and a lingering sense of loss for a talent that once blazed brightly, but lost its way amidst the upheavals of the times. Buddy Clark possessed a voice that seemed to have stepped out of a dream, soft, warm, and full of emotion. Born to tell love stories, as one of the most beloved vocalists of the big band era, he helped soothe America's spirit in the post-war period, when audiences sought comfort and hope through music. Throughout the 1940s, Buddy consistently made his mark with numerous hit recordings, making his name a household name across the country. After a successful, joyful, and exhilarating performance, Buddy and some friends chartered a private plane to attend a college football game. The trip began with excitement and relaxation, unaware of the serious tragedy lurking ahead. On the return journey to Los Angeles, the plane malfunctioned and crashed in West Beverly. The accident happened so quickly that no one had time to react. Buddy Clark passed away at the height of his career, leaving behind a deep sense of shock and regret among the public. A sweet voice that once brought solace to an entire era ended its journey in such a sudden and heartbreaking way. Victor Sen Young is a familiar face to generations of American television viewers. An actor who doesn't need ostentation to leave a lasting impression. Through his role as the loyal chef Hop Sing in the series Bonanza, or as Jimmy Chan in the Charlie Chan series, he delivered a gentle, charming, and warm acting style, infused with subtle humor, making him a familiar figure to audiences whenever he appeared. Off-screen, Victor chose a quiet and private life, when he was no longer actively involved in the entertainment industry. He retreated to his small home in North Hollywood to pursue his passion for ceramics. He personally shaped, fired, and even sold his handcrafted products through custom orders, finding peace in these simple yet meaningful endeavors. However, this seemingly safe space became the setting for an unexpected tragedy. A gas leak from a furnace silently caused toxic fumes to spread throughout the house. Unaware of the impending danger, he was gradually affected by carbon monoxide, a colorless, odorless, yet extremely dangerous gas, and passed away quietly in his own home. Victor Sen Young's death was not tumultuous, but it left a profound void in the hearts of his audience. A humble artist who had contributed to familiar and memorable images on American television, he ended his life's journey silently. His story became a gentle yet haunting reminder of the fragility of life, even in the seemingly most peaceful moments. Ola Brunkert wasn't a name that frequently appeared in the spotlight, but he was an essential part of the rhythmic soul of ABBA, one of the most legendary bands in music history. From Dancing Queen and Mamma Mia to Waterloo, his solid and emotionally rich drum beats contributed to the foundation of timeless songs. etched in the memories of millions of music lovers around the world, though not a prominent public figure. His mark was clearly present in every familiar melody. However, the life of this quiet artist ended in a surprising and heartbreaking way. At his home in Majorca, Spain, during a normal day, he unfortunately slipped and fell while moving around the house. The impact caused him to hit a window, shattering the glass and resulting in a serious injury. Despite attempting to administer first aid himself and move outside to seek help, the blood loss quickly exhausted him, causing him to collapse in his own garden. Ola Brunkert passed away at the age of 61, leaving behind shock and sorrow among ABBA fans and the music world. His death was sudden and heartbreaking. A paradox, as the man who contributed to creating such vibrant music left this world so quietly. Nevertheless, the drums he left behind continue to resonate, an inseparable part of the immortal musical legacy that ABBA created. Jack Cassidy was the epitome of classic charm, a dapper gentleman with a captivating demeanor and a natural stage presence. He captivated Broadway audiences with his mesmerizing performances, appearing in numerous classic musicals, and later made his mark on television with Emmy-nominated roles. Not only a talented artist, he was also the father of two famous stars, David and Shawn Cassidy, who continued the family's legacy in the entertainment industry. However, behind the dazzling stage lights lay a tragic end. One quiet night in his West Hollywood apartment, Jack fell asleep on the sofa with a lit cigarette in his hand. From a seemingly harmless moment, the fire silently erupted, spreading rapidly through the space while he remained asleep, unaware of what was happening. By the time firefighters arrived, everything had been almost completely destroyed. His body could only be identified through dental records. Jack Cassidy passed away quietly in a place without spotlights or an audience, leaving a huge void in the hearts of his fans. Despite the tragic end to his life, his image, a charismatic, talented, and captivating artist, will live on in the memory of American entertainment. Gaspard Ulliel was once considered the epitome of a new kind of beauty in French cinema, a beauty that blended melancholy, mystery, and a unique allure. With his deep eyes and emotionally rich acting style, he left a strong impression with his portrayal of young Hannibal Lecter in Hannibal Rising, a role that was both cold and haunting. Beyond his looks, Gaspard was also recognized as a talented actor, always choosing roles with depth, requiring subtlety and inner strength, thus solidifying his position in European cinema. However, at the height of his career, an unexpected accident changed everything. During a winter vacation in the French Alps, he collided with another skier at the intersection of two slopes. Initially, the situation didn't seem serious. The speed wasn't high, and there were no obvious signs of danger. However, after the collision, Gaspard fell and was unable to get up on his own. While the other person was unharmed, he suffered a very serious head injury. He was quickly airlifted to the hospital, but his condition was beyond saving. Gaspard Ulliel's death at the height of his career shocked the film industry and the public. A talented artist, at the peak of his career, left this world in what seemed like a simple accident. The loss remains, a void that is difficult to fill for film lovers. Butterfly McQueen, a name both unique and poetic, has left its mark on film history with one of the most memorable roles of all time. With her distinctive round eyes and high-pitched voice, she stood out as Prissy in Gone with the Wind, imprinting her image on the memories of audiences worldwide. But Butterfly was more than just a character on screen. She was also a symbol of resilience, intelligence, and independence in a Hollywood era still fraught with barriers and prejudice. Throughout her career, despite often being limited to supporting roles and not always receiving the recognition she deserved, she steadfastly asserted her worth. Through her talent, character, and courage, she overcame societal stereotypes, maintaining her unique identity in an industry that was not easy for Black artists at the time. However, her final years ended in a heartbreaking tragedy. in an incident at her home in Georgia while attempting to use an oil heater. A fire broke out, causing serious injuries. Despite prompt medical attention, the severity of her injuries prevented her from recovering. Butterfly McQueen passed away at the age of 84, leaving behind a deep sense of loss in the public's heart. Her life was a blend of artistic brilliance and a journey of overcoming prejudice, leaving a legacy not only in her roles, but also in her unwavering spirit and the freedom in her choice of how to live. Though she is gone, Butterfly McQueen's image and legacy continue to live on as an indelible part of cinematic history. Barbara Weldons is a rare vocalist who can bring a sense of stillness to any space with her simple, yet deeply emotional melodies. Her music is not ostentatious or pretentious, but rather authentic, poetic, and seems to emanate from the deepest recesses of human emotion. Upon releasing her debut album in 2017, she quickly garnered attention from both critics and audiences, and was expected to become one of the leading figures in contemporary French music. However, this promising artistic journey ended abruptly and tragically not long afterward. During a performance at a small festival in southern France, while completely immersed in her music on stage, a serious incident occurred. The audience was stunned when she collapsed in the middle of her performance, and all subsequent efforts to help were unsuccessful. The cause of death was determined to be an electrical accident on stage, when she came into contact with a malfunctioning piece of equipment during a performance. That moment interrupted not only the song, but an artistic journey at its peak. Barbara Weldons passed away at the age of 35, leaving behind many unfinished projects and a voice that still resonates in the memories of those who listened to her. Her death was shocking not only because of its unexpectedness, but also because it occurred just as her talent was beginning to blossom. Although her life's journey ended too soon, the music Barbara left behind continues to live on, like a gentle yet enduring echo, touching the hearts of listeners in its own unique way. Joe Spinell was the kind of actor whose name might not immediately come to mind, but whose face and acting were unforgettable. With his rugged appearance and powerful acting style, he left his mark on classic films like Taxi Driver, Rocky, and The Godfather. He not only portrayed tough characters, but also brought them to life, making them seem as if they had stepped right out of real life. But behind the screen, Joe was a man burdened with loneliness and quiet moments few knew about. In 1989, a sudden accident occurred in his New York apartment. Joe slipped in the bathroom, hitting a glass door and sustaining serious injuries. Despite his attempts to call for help, he was too late and passed away at home at the age of 52 in absolute silence. No stage lights, no applause, only a chilling silence. An actor who had lived intensely through each role ultimately departed in a tragically quiet way. Dick St. John was a vocalist who embodied the golden age of pop music, a time when music was full of freshness, freedom, and youthful spirit. As one half of the duo Dick and Dee, he contributed to the distinctive sound of the 1960s, a period when surf rock and gentle love songs dominated the mainstream music scene. His voice resonated with the era, standing alongside many big names and leaving a lasting mark on American musical culture. However, when the spotlight faded, his life returned to its ordinary state. On what seemed like an ordinary day in Pacific Palisades, he climbed a ladder outside his house to do some repairs. A moment of carelessness led to a serious slip, causing him severe injuries. Despite prompt medical attention, he could not be saved. Dick St. John passed away at the age of 62 in quiet solitude, without music or fans surrounding him. His passing brings much regret, a sad pause in the journey of someone who contributed to the brilliant melodies of an entire generation. Nevertheless, the melodies he left behind continue to resonate as an indelible part of musical memory. Russ Columbus was one of the quintessential romantic voices of the 1930s, a crooner with a warm, Sweet voice that easily touched listeners' emotions through love songs like You Call It Madness, but I Call It Love and Prisoner of Love. During the golden age of radio, he was alongside big names like Bing Crosby and Ruddy Valley, not only for his captivating voice, but also for his elegant demeanor and natural charm. As his career soared, Hollywood began to open its doors to him, recognizing him as a promising star. However, fate unexpectedly and tragically ended his journey. During a visit to his close friend, photographer Lansing Brown, Russ curiously looked through a collection of antique guns used in reenactments of duels. No one anticipated that a seemingly harmless object could become the cause of a tragedy. While handling the gun, an internal mechanism was unintentionally activated, leading to a sudden explosion that caused the bullet to ricochet and severely injure Russ. Despite being rushed to the hospital and the doctor's best efforts, the injuries were too severe to save him. Russ Columbo passed away at the age of 26, when his career was still flourishing and full of promise. His sudden death left a deep sense of loss, ending a brilliant but short musical journey, and becoming one of the saddest stories of the golden age of American music. Martha Mansfield was one of the prominent faces of the silent film era, possessing an elegant beauty and natural charm on screen. Transitioning from Broadway to film, she quickly made an impression on audiences thanks to her talent and radiant appearance. In the early 1920s, Martha was considered a promising star, appearing in notable works such as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, solidifying her rising status in Hollywood at the time. However, during the filming of The Warrens of Virginia in San Antonio, Texas, a tragic accident occurred. After completing a scene, Martha was still wearing her Civil War-era costume, a thick, flammable dress. Unfortunately, a burning object fell near her, causing the flames to erupt and spread rapidly across her attire. In the ensuing chaos, people around immediately tried to put out the fire and save her, but the severity of the situation had spiraled out of control. Martha was rushed to the hospital, but her injuries were too severe to be cured. She passed away at the age of 24, at a time when her career was still in its promising phase. The incident left behind profound grief and became one of the most memorable tragedies of the early film era, where the line between glamour and risk was sometimes incredibly thin. Claude François is one of France's most beloved musical icons. Not simply a pop singer, but an embodiment of an era. Dubbed the Elvis of France, he is a multi-talented artist. Singer, songwriter, producer, and dancer, boasting tens of millions of records sold and a remarkably brilliant career. On stage, Claude always explodes with intense energy, transforming each performance into an unforgettable moment. But behind that glamour is a perfectionist, a man who wants to control every detail of his life. After finishing a special television program, Claude returns to his Paris apartment and spends time relaxing in the bathroom. While relaxing, he notices a small detail in the room that seems imperfect: the wall lamp above the bathtub. In the reflex of someone obsessed with neatness, he gets up to adjust it. However, at that moment, a dangerous electrical incident occurred while he was handling the equipment in a humid environment. The end came quickly and irreversibly. Claude François died at the age of 39, leaving a great sense of loss in the hearts of the public and the French music scene. His perfectionism, which had helped him reach the pinnacle of fame, ultimately became a contributing factor to an unforeseen tragedy. Though his life ended prematurely, his musical legacy lives on, an integral part of French pop history. Payne Stewart was not only a talented golfer, but also considered a true artist on the course. With his classic style, distinctive flat cap, and colorful attire, he always stood out in the otherwise solemn world of golf. Every shot was executed with precision, combined with a fierce competitive spirit, as if he were performing a work of art rather than a sporting event. In his career, Payne won 11 PGA Tour titles, including 3 major championships, solidifying his position as one of the most outstanding and charismatic golfers of his generation. His emotional victory at the 1999 US Open propelled him to the pinnacle of glory, opening up a seemingly long future ahead. However, not long after that brilliant moment, an unbelievable tragedy occurred. During a private flight to Texas, the aircraft experienced a loss of cabin pressure. This situation caused everyone on board, including Payne Stewart, to lose control. The plane continued to fly for hours in absolute silence, like an unguided, aimless journey. Despite close monitoring by the Air Force, there was no way to intervene in time. Finally, the plane crashed in an area of South Dakota, ending a haunting journey. Payne Stewart passed away at the age of 42, not on the football field where he shone, but in a silent flight across the vast sky. His passing left a deep sense of loss, but his legacy of talent, style, and unique personality continues to be remembered by fans today. Charles McGraw possessed a distinctive voice, so powerful and resonant that its mere sound was enough to convey a sense of weight and authority. Hoarse, cold, and unmistakable, he was a quintessential figure of classic film noir, embodying the image of a tough man with a cold gaze and restrained demeanor. Through his roles in Spartacus and Thunder Over the Plains, Charles left his mark not only with his masterful acting, but also with his powerful presence, as if he were born to represent resilience and indomitability. On screen, he always appeared as an invincible man. Yet in real life, fate brought his journey to a tragic and unexpected end. At his home in Studio City, California, while moving into the bathroom, he unfortunately slipped and fell. The impact sent him crashing through a glass door, and the shards caused serious injuries, leading to rapid blood loss. Despite being discovered and receiving timely assistance, his condition was too severe to be saved. Charles McGraw passed away at the age of 66, quietly and tragically. A symbol of strength on screen, ultimately died from a seemingly simple but cruel everyday accident. This contrast makes his story even more haunting, a reminder that even the most resilient figures cannot escape the fragility of life. Danny Cedrone's iconic guitar solo in Rock Around the Clock not only contributed to a significant milestone in music history, but is also considered one of the first sparks that ignited the rock and roll era. With his solid technique and energetic style, he was a quiet artist who played a crucial role in shaping the distinctive sound of a new age. The melodies he created resonated through jukeboxes, permeated vibrant dance floors, and became part of the memories of an entire generation of young people yearning for freedom. However, not long after this groundbreaking musical achievement, his life was tragically cut short by an unfortunate event. In a normal daily situation, while descending the stairs, Danny was involved in a serious accident. The incident happened so quickly and unexpectedly, leaving him with a career still unfinished and opportunities yet to be realized. There were no farewells on stage, no final moments with the audience, only the immortal sounds of the guitar. That melody continues to live on, a timeless musical legacy, a reminder of an artist who helped usher in an entire era. Even though his journey ended in such a poignant way. Greg Plitt is the kind of person who immediately catches the eye, not only because of his strong physique or determined gaze, but also because of the vibrant energy within him. He's not just a fitness model, but also a great inspiration to millions. A symbol of discipline, effort, and a relentless drive to push boundaries. Through his Bravo's workout program, Greg always conveys the message of living life to the fullest, daring to set big goals and persistently pursuing them. However, this very spirit of pushing himself to the limit led to a fateful moment. While filming a commercial in Burbank, California, Greg performed a highly challenging scene where he was moving alongside a moving train. A small miscalculation created a dangerous situation, and he didn't have time to react before the accident occurred. Greg passed away at the scene at the age of 37. A man who always controlled his body and trained himself to perfection could not avoid a fateful moment in an instant. His death sent shockwaves through the bodybuilding community and among those who had followed his journey. Greg Plitt lived up to the spirit. He always championed strong, bold, and unwavering, but that very same fire ended his journey too soon. John Denver's voice evoked the feeling of an open sky, gentle, pure, and transcending the boundaries of time. With famous songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads, and Rocky Mountain High, he was not just a musician, but also became an icon of connection with nature, his homeland, and the simple yet profound values of life. His music offered solace, and the message he left behind was peace amidst an ever-changing world. However, the artist who once sang of the sky and free flight ultimately perished in a tragic accident. While piloting a small test aircraft off the coast of California, he was flying solo, as he had done many times before. While operating the cockpit, the fuel level began to decrease, and he needed to switch to the reserve tank. Due to the cramped space and difficult operating position, a sudden movement caused him to inadvertently affect the control stick, destabilizing the aircraft. In a brief moment, the aircraft lost control and crashed into the sea. The accident claimed the life of John Denver at the age of 53. Later, the cause was determined to be related to suboptimal cockpit design and control placement, making the maneuvers in that situation more risky than anticipated. His passing left a deep sense of loss for fans everywhere. An artist who always looked towards the sky and the beauty of life ultimately departed from this world in the very environment he loved, leaving behind melodies that continue to resonate as a reminder of peace and freedom. Glenn Shaddix was one of those actors with a truly unique style, whose mere appearance on screen was enough to leave a lasting impression on audiences. With his distinctive voice and charismatic acting style, he always brought a quirky yet captivating quality to his characters. From his role as Otho in Beetlejuice to the eccentric mayor in The Nightmare Before Christmas, Glenn didn't just act. He breathed life into each role, contributing to the creation of imaginative and stylish cinematic worlds. However, his life ended in an unexpected way, in the familiar space of his apartment. A sudden accident occurred when he slipped and fell in the kitchen. The impact with a hard object caused serious injuries, and all subsequent efforts to save him could not change the outcome. He passed away in his own home. Quietly and with deep regret, Glenn Shaddix passed away at the age of 58, leaving behind shock and disbelief among his friends, colleagues, and admirers, an artist known for his fantastical, humorous, and sometimes dark characters. His life's journey ended in a tragic, everyday accident. This contrast makes his story even more haunting, a reminder that fate always takes unpredictable turns, even. Mark Fidrich was more than just a baseball pitcher. He was a true phenomenon in American sports. With his unruly curly hair, emotional playing style, and unique actions on the field, he was nicknamed the Bird by fans, an image that was both familiar and unusual. Fidrich didn't just play. He transformed each game into a vibrant performance, talking to the ball, adjusting the pitch himself, and pitching with rare enthusiasm. His 1976 rookie season with the Detroit Tigers propelled him to nationwide fame, earning him the Rookie of the Year award and leaving behind the image of an energetic, natural, and unlike any other athlete. However, that colorful story ended quietly and tragically, years after leaving professional baseball. One day, while working on his farm in Massachusetts, he suffered a serious accident while inspecting a large truck. During the operation, his clothing unfortunately got caught in the moving mechanical parts, resulting in a life-threatening injury that ultimately led to his death. Mark Fidrich passed away at the age of 54, leaving behind a deep sense of loss among his fans. Gone are the spontaneous moments on the field, the characteristic smile and innocence, but the image of the Bird lives on as an icon of pure passion and an irreplaceable difference in baseball history. Jeff Porcaro was one of the names synonymous with the golden age of rock music. He was not only the drummer of the band Toto, but also considered the rhythmic heart behind many timeless hits like Africa and Rosanna. With his refined technique and exceptional ability to convey emotion, he created irreplaceable musical legacies, helping to shape the sound of an entire generation. However, life ended unexpectedly, in a moment of everyday life at his home. While performing a familiar task in his garden, a serious chemical-related health reaction occurred, leading to a critical condition and claiming his life shortly afterward, not on stage or in the spotlight of touring, but in the quiet confines of everyday life. A musical legend passed away. Jeff Porcaro's passing has left a deep sense of loss among fans and artists alike, and serves as a reminder that even the greatest talents can face the unpredictable twists of fate. Steve Peregrine Took was a musical personality with a free and wild spirit, as if born from the psychedelic currents of the 1960s. Co-founding the band Tyrannosaurus Rex with Mark Bolan, he helped shape a colorful era of rock music, where experimentation, rebellion, and the desire to break free became the common voice of an entire generation. With his powerful energy and unmistakable style, Steve represented the spirit of daring to be different and living true to oneself. However, his life ended in an unexpected and unbelievable way, during a gathering at his London apartment. Amidst the familiar party atmosphere, music, and chaos of the rock world, Steve suddenly suffered a serious health problem while eating. A seemingly harmless small detail became the cause of an irreversible accident, with everything happening too quickly to react in time. Steve Peregrine Took's passing left the music world in shock, not only because of its unexpected nature, but also because of the irony of fate. An artist who lived a life of spontaneity, breaking free from all conventions, ultimately left this world in an incredibly quiet and illogical way. His story became a strange pause in rock history, where sometimes destiny doesn't need fanfare to haunt us forever. Keith Relf's voice was more than just music. It carried the spirit of a changing era. As the lead singer of the legendary band the Yardbirds, he played a crucial role in the wave of British music, paving the way for big names like Eric Clapton, Jimmy Page, and Jeff Beck. With his raw yet emotional voice, Keith breathed life into songs like For Your Love and Heart Full of Soul, blending rock with blues and soul, leaving an indelible mark on modern music history. However, his life ended in quiet tragedy, in the basement of his London home. Keith was playing an electric guitar alone during a moment of relaxation. Unfortunately, the guitar wasn't properly grounded, and the surrounding environment posed a potential electrical hazard. An unexpected incident occurred, and when the current surged through, no one was there in time to help. Keith Relf passed away at the age of 33. An artist who helped shape an entire generation of music died in solitude, and from what seemed like a minor accident. But his legacy resonates, a testament that great influence sometimes begins with the most ordinary people and the most commonplace moments of life. Terry Kath was considered the heart of Chicago, not just of the band, but a musical icon of an entire era. He was a brilliant guitarist with masterful technique and an emotionally charged performance style, capable of transitioning from powerful roars to soft, delicate melodies in moments. His music played a crucial role in shaping the unique identity of one of the greatest rock bands in history. On stage, he exploded like fire. Offstage, he was a free-spirited personality, living instinctively and always teetering on the fine line of recklessness. But it was this very recklessness that ultimately led to an irreversible tragedy. At a friend's house, Kath picked up a gun and engaged in what seemed like playful actions, something he had done before. He spun a revolver in his hand, then proceeded to a semi-automatic rifle after removing the magazine, believing it to be completely harmless. However, he didn't realize that a bullet remained in the chamber. In a brief moment, everything spiraled out of control. When the gunshot rang out, silence enveloped the room. Terry Kath died before reaching the age of 32, just days before his birthday. A great talent of world rock music was lost in a tragic accident, leaving behind profound sorrow and a void that will be difficult to fill in music history. Bo Diaz was one of the most respected catchers in Latin American baseball and MLB, throughout his career spanning over a decade. He distinguished himself with his solid defense, unwavering composure, and quiet leadership, playing for the Cleveland Indians, Philadelphia Phillies, and Cincinnati Reds. Bo was always seen as a reliable stop behind the home plate and a teammate who could provide stability during the most stressful moments. He was an all-star and a key player in the Phillies' World Series run in 1983, leaving a lasting mark on baseball history. After retiring from professional play, Bo remained involved in baseball and life in his native Venezuela. However, tragedy struck on what seemed like an ordinary day at his home in Caracas. While installing or adjusting a satellite antenna on the roof, the device unexpectedly lost balance and collapsed, causing extremely serious injuries. Despite being rushed to the hospital, his condition was too critical to be saved. Bo Diaz passed away at the age of 37, leaving fans and the sports community in shock. A career once full of skill and dedication ended in an unexpected way. But his legacy, from his assured saves to his unwavering fighting spirit, will continue to be remembered as a model of a dedicated guard in baseball history. Although they came from different fields such as music, film, sports, or television, the common thread among the people we just mentioned is the desire to live life to the fullest and leave an irreplaceable mark. Their lives, though some were short and ended in regrettable circumstances, have become a powerful source of inspiration for millions around the world. Their smiles, their voices, their moments of triumph on stage, or their shining moments on the field all continue to live on in the public memory. We remember them not only for their brilliant careers, but also for the everyday stories behind the spotlight, stories of passion, effort, joy, and even loss. It is this authenticity that makes them more relatable, leaving a deeper emotional impact on their fans. They may have passed away, but what they created continues to exist, echoing through their works, their moments, and in the hearts of those who once loved them. Thank you for joining us on this journey of revisiting these heartwarming stories. If you found this video meaningful, please show your support by liking, leaving a comment, and subscribing to the channel to continue following our content. Thank you and see you again.